Okay, here's this Excel spreadsheet um, grouping the prime numbers into groups of 10, so like 0 to 10, 11 to 19, so on and so on. And within each group of 10, uh, there are potentially up to 4 prime numbers, and the green rows that you see are the rows in which there are 3 or 4 prime numbers, which I calling a 3 prime cluster or a 4 prime cluster. And the yellow rows are the rows in which there could possibly be a 3 or 4 prime cluster according to this pattern that's emerged, and then the red rows are the rows in which you you won't find 3 or 4 prime clusters. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a pattern to it, and that pattern is based on the fact that um, here's the row number of the 3 prime clusters, and then the distance between the two, and that distance, as you can see here, is always divisible by 3. So the distance between the rows in which the 3 prime clusters occur is always divisible by 3, and the same thing is true for the 4 prime clusters. So that's how I was able to so far rule out 2 rows at a time here, where we haven't yet seen any of those 3 and 4 prime clusters. And then the other data point that I was looking at in column N here is the total. These numbers correspond to the total of the digits for the row if you add the digits together. So row 23, 2 and 3 is 5. And I discovered some, I don't know if you call it a pattern, but anyway, the digits tend to add up to prime numbers, and if they don't, you can see this one adds up to 8. Row 62 adds up to 8. So we got 11, 14, 17, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 11, 8, 14, 17, 2, 14, 17, 11. And so it seems kind of statistically improbable that these digits would always, the total of the row digits would add up to either a prime number, or if not prime, it seems like 8 and 14 are kind of popular numbers. There's another 8, there's an 11, 14, 20, 17. So I don't know, if you look at the rows, every third row, and you add up the digits, here's 14. This is not a 3 or 4 prime cluster, but that adds up to 14. This is 17, which is prime. 11 is prime. Another 14 here. 17, 20. So anyway, I don't know. It's just another data point that could be totally immaterial. Not entirely sure. So this consistency in which these 3 and 4 prime clusters occur isn't predictive for where it will occur in the future. And by the way, I'm just inputting this all manually, so that I'm sure there's a quicker way to do it, a smarter way to do it, and somebody smarter can figure that out. But what it does say so far is where 3 and 4 prime clusters cannot occur, which is to say these rows that are not a factor of 3 in distance from any of the previous rows where a 3 or 4 prime cluster occurs. So that's what I've got so far. Video number 3. Please leave a comment if this is like common knowledge or completely worthless or whatever. I'm just looking for some input from smarter people.